Very pleased to be interviewing Kelly Wenzel, who's Chief Marketing Officer for Centro. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
So let's start with your background. How did you get to where you are today?
Sure. So I spent the first nearly 20 years of my career in technology, doing basically climbing the ladder in marketing, doing various roles from all in the B2B space and typically in small to mid-sized startups. And in 2009 was asked to come bring some of that technology best practice into the advertising and media sector, specifically ad tech. So in '09 made the move over into digital media and have been here ever since.
I think it's wonderful that you're a woman in technology. What did you study in school? What made you decide to go into this field?
So I was actually a journalism major, always knew that I wanted to be in writing. I always tell the story, actually, when I was 8 years old, I produced a newsletter in my little neighborhood and did the drawings, not so great on the drawings, wrote little stories and puzzles, sold it around my neighborhood for a quarter. So not surprising, I was then editor of the high school paper, moved on to get a journalism degree, and a few years into my journalism degree realized, I think I prefer the marketing and advertising side of this. So graduated with my degree in that. And first job out of college was as a copywriter at an agency, ironically. And then from there was recruited to go be a marketing manager at a software company, and I've been in tech ever since.
How has your part of the field changed since you first started?
Wow. Well, I'll stick to my time in digital media. It's been interesting because a few years ago, it was very much an RFP game. RFPs kind of rolled in, and as a marketer, you didn't have to do that much to think about lead generation. Everybody sort of knew who you were, and it was more about branding and exposure and a lot of entertainment in the ad tech sector. And now I see it's much more about content. Yes, having a holistic brand strategy, being very on purpose with your brand, and then producing relevant, meaningful content that your customers want to consume. And yes, you still need to think about lead generation and how I'm going to distribute and promote that content. But ad tech is such a confusing and cluttered space that as a marketer, we spend a lot more time on thought leadership, on education, and on demystifying this this space that I think gets a lot of people sort of anxious because it's really hard to understand.
So Kelly, I know programmatic is part of your business.
Sure.
Can you define programmatic?
Yeah, this is a great question because there's still a tremendous amount of confusion about it. There are, and I think that the definition has evolved. There are people who think that programmatic is synonymous with real-time bidding, or RTB, buying inventory through an exchange based on an auction. That's more the kind of an older, slightly outdated definition. More folks are waking up to the broader view, which is programmatic is about automation. It implies that anything that can be automated in the life cycle will be automated. So by that definition, everything Centro does is programmatic, because every bit of media that we put through our platform is automated and is done via technology. So there's nothing done manually here. There's, as I mentioned earlier, there's just a tremendous amount of education that needs to happen because too many people still think that, programmatic means I'm only going to bid for lower quality or remnant impressions from sometimes not quality publishers on an exchange. That's also an outdated view, but it's taking a long time to turn the tide of perception.
So in TV, we talk about cross-platform.
Yeah.
What do you mean by cross-platform in your area of the industry?
Sure.
And if it includes television, how will you get to TV?
Okay. So today, Centro is completely focused on digital, and our solution is cross-channel. And so when we talk about, you might call it cross-platform, we would say cross-channel, but it essentially means that all of the different swim lanes or channels that you could have access to in the digital realm, display, email, search, social, and all the ad formats, the varying formats that go across that, whether they're banners or video, whatever, that all of those can be transacted and executed via a single platform. we can do this today. We have been doing this for a number of years. We get asked often, well, can you take our print buys too? And our answer is we could, but we won't. We are wholly focused on digital. We also get asked, are we going to move to programmatic TV? And the answer is yes. That's definitely in the future for us. Right now, we're still focused on getting traction for a system that is pulling all of those channels for reserved guaranteed buys and bidded buys into that holistic unified platform. Once that challenge is solved, programmatic TV is very close on the horizon.